Fuck is up, chicken tenders? It's your boy, Big Chunkus, and we are back for Skibbity Rizzler, Doggo, Reddit humor. In the last episode, we played Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and in this episode, we're gonna be playing my throw up. I had like food yesterday. And then I had like 3 pieces of cake because it was my birthday party. But it's okay, I'm gonna get sushi today. It's gonna be fine. Like, that's all I'm eating today is just sushi. It's really good for you. So, the fuck do I get out of this fuck ass menu, bro? I need to investigate. So, the torn off edge on the ground.
What's this?
Looks like a part of an envelope, I think. That was glass. Hold on.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened.
Is that significant?
Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter or the rest of the envelope, in fact, is there?
Ah, she's right.
And yet here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
I agree. We better take this just in case. If this is relevant, I'm gonna lose my shit. Okay. So, examine the teacup on the table.
Ah, one of the teacups that Mr. Shamspear and his guests drink from last night. But don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's bitter poison inside.
I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty.
That's true. So one was Mr. Shamspear's, and the other must be the cup that Mr. Natsume was drinking from.
But Soseki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we should take these so we can examine them in more detail later. So we just stole the fucking cups. It's crazy. Examine the bricked up window. That's just bricked up.
As we've seen from the outside, the window's completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax the Britons had to pay.
What a strange thing they used to tax in Great Britain. And they still tax weird shit. I mean, making people pay for the numbers of windows they had in a property, it's extraordinary.
It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh!
What is it, Miss Susato?
If you look closely, a number of bricks are loose.
Oh, that's actually a big-ass number of bricks. Oh yes, it looks as though an amateur has broken a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shamster who did it, I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room?
Ah, look at this, Mr. Naruhodo. On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it.
What? Outside? Examine the open hole.
It's so cold outside. You can feel it right through this gap.
It did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is it on the ledge out there? What are those snow-covered lumps?
It's more bars of soap.
Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window?
I have no idea. But the pair of them look rather charming like that.
Still, that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window? I think perhaps we should take one. There are 2 after all.
Oh dear, I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here at this soap.
Ah!
Do you see? In the middle there, there's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but...
Some of the fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain.
It looks like the Hinamaru flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. It's probably a very expensive brand.
Expensive? Then what's it doing in this ramshackle old room? Probably some shit that Soseki was up to, you know? Okay. Bar of soap, examine the red box with the lock on it. It's a gas meter that you pay for by inserting a coin. And here we have another disproportionately large machine that looks like a meter of some kind.
Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins.
Ah, I see. Yeah, now that you've pointed it out, I can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here...
That's right, that would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating.
So if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold?
Yes, or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank.
Thank goodness there's no meter in our office. That's actually kind of insane. That's wild. Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Oh, looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Inspector Gregson! Back so soon?
After I threw that little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this to the investigation division. In 5 minutes' time, this place will be cordoned off by the yard.
Oh, I see. Well, we better be leaving then.
Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low, being back in a cell again so soon.
I'm sure. We should probably go...
What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
He's fucking moving! Out! Out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow! A poor player! That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more! Now, how soundeth the next part?
It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Indeed, oh happy day! Oh my god. What the fuck was that? Walking Dead! What the fuck was that? What?
No, the fella isn't dead at all!
What was that nonsense he was saying, though? What the fuck?
I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5.
Shakespeare? So it was that the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, came back to life. If the man had indeed been poisoned, it transpired that it hadn't killed him. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment, and Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime, whatever that was now. That's insane. That's crazy. I love that it was in the walkthrough. I try not to read ahead. And I literally completely missed that because I check for the bold parts where it tells you what to do. I don't like read through the whole thing.
Whatever do you think will happen now?
Good question. That caught me so off guard. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life.
I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely Mr. Shakespeare did consume poison as we deduced. But was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody.
I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? What the fuck is that? Look at his fucking face! What's that man doing over there? Looks like he's trying to see into Sosuke-san's lodgings.
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
Excuse me, can we have a word? His fucking bobblehead looking ass, what the fuck was that? He just ran off.
I feel sure that I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it?
I do too, but I don't remember. I also feel like I've seen old bobblehead before. I feel like I've seen old bobblehead before, but whatever. So what do? I have to move to Mr. Garrett's room. Okay. Okay. I'm like too tall for this shit. Ooh, kill him. Ooh, kill him. Ooh, kill him. So he's completely changed his whole everything. Here we are again. The eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Garadeb's the one who discovered the incident this morning. Don't forget.
Ah, you chops, eh?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday.
It was quite a trial. As much for Mr. Garadeb as anyone, really.
Came straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bally nonsense this morning.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garadeb.
Yeah, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead loss of an actor chap in a ground floor room.
Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? I don't remember exactly. I think his wife definitely was the one that went to jail. Wasn't she mad at, did she try and frame him or some shit? No, she tried to frame Soseki. Or wasn't she abusive? Hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna look that shit up. Hold on. Hold on. Also, my aunt, like, scared the fuck out of me. She sent me a text just now telling me about Dungeon Crawler Carl, but I just saw the thing that said, "So I've been meaning to tell you," and I thought it was gonna be, like, some, like, tragedy, and I was like, oh my god, someone just died. But no, it was just Dungeon Crawler Carl. So, hold on. A woman scorned. Oh, John returned home from the secondhand bookstore. A love letter from Maria to James was found inside, convincing Joan that John was cheating on her. John tried to assure her the love letter had been there when he bought it, but two of them got into an argument. And then that's where the stuff happened with Natsume. Joan begged for forgiveness. John took her place as juror. And John has been meeting. Okay. So yeah, so she murdered, but it wasn't his fault. Okay, so hold on. Take me. Please don't crash my whole fucking computer, dude. Don't crash my whole fucking computer, because for no reason it does this shit, dude, where like Chrome just like shits itself. Hold on. I have to like force close Chrome right now because it's like peeing itself. Which I just realized kills every fucking Chrome tab I have. That's fine, but I can restore. There we go. Okay, perfect. So I talked to him what I need to do. So hold on. I need to make sure I actually saved. And then hold on. So I need to converse this morning's incident. It must have been a real shock for you this morning. I heard that you discovered what had happened.
Ah, well, that hoopless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't needed the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bally answer.
And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door?
Well, I called on that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course.
Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Mr. Naruhodo. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning.
Well, better be safe than sorry and all that.
Is it just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden?
Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door.
Yeah, tell me about Mr. Shamspear. Speaking of gas, it's one of the languages. I saw the bold. See what I'm talking about. The victim's name is Shamspear, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, William Shamspear. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute?
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that's either broke or has a bally screw loose.
So hard to choose which category Sozeki-san would fall into. Both.
Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude.
He was doing research as well.
Research? Into what?
Shakespeare, of course, Shakespeare. Read a few plays of the old boy myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that.
Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japanese, you know.
Really? What? Why?
And many of his works have already been translated.
What? Why is Shakespeare called Sao in Japan? Affectionately called Sao, that emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. A natural, endearing abbreviation to make the foreign name easier to use. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's actually really cute. I like that. Derived phonetically, incorporating the sa or sao sound from Sheiko Supira. Okay, that's cute. Okay. I actually like that. It seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sao, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. There were a lot of costumes in the victim's room, actually, weren't there?
Of course, Mr. Natsume's a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have had much in common.
Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that.
Mr. Naruhodo, really? How rude!
How is she reading his mind? Whatever. After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning?
Well now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily as I remember, and it was completely dark already. That failed actor chap was out at the time.
Mr. Garadeb noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose.
Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shakespeare got back, and the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end some time after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there.
Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Miss Suzato?
Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garadeb, you were up here in your room all evening, if I've understood correctly.
Not a big fan of stairs, not with his blasted leg.
Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenants on the ground floor, I mean.
That's a very good point. I can't imagine you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it?
I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's a bally outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on me tenants. Why would I?
Then how did you know, Mr. Garadeb?
It's a gas, woman. The gas tells me everything.
Then the gas? Speaking of gas. What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything?
Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes.
Yes, I'd more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main.
Yes, I understand that too.
Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen?
Well, obviously the room would get brighter.
Exactly, but at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment.
What? They dim? Why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas on the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it?
Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe.
Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable.
Jolly good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless, long worn out, and barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they go brighter in the rest of the house.
Ah, right, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere.
You've got it.
How do you know it was his room, though, and not Suzeki?
Oh, of course, because when people come back home in the evening and before they go to sleep, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires.
Clever.
In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in our whole house.
Gosh, that's so fascinating, Mr. Garadeb. Absolutely fascinating.
Oh, well, nothing to it, really.
And I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case, either. Something about... oh, history. Hold on, I can check. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Garadeb is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again.
A good idea.
Okay, so now leave. Move to prison. I like that they let you just move to where the fuck you want to go. You don't have to like move around and shit. Damn, he stands the fuck up!
Look, Mr. Naruhodo.
He stands up.
Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now?
Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire!
Oh, yes?
What is he? Tell me! Is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me?
Let me guess. You're talking about Mr. Sholmes?
He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost.
But his diabolic deductions, they're not of this world. They've left me. Ah! Cursed! I'm cursed, I tell you!
Oh, that sort of hurts.
Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in the deduction, too.
Yes, moving on. We have some wonderful news.
Oh!
The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again!
Now, in the absolute worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume?
It's terrible!
Oh!
I'm stuck in this cell, suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick! You did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer. Why the mustache? Constant questions!
Sorry to hear that.
Ah, that selfish shyster!
Make up your mind.
Oh, make up your mind. Are you dead or alive? If you are going to come back to life, why bother dying? Wickedly wishy-washy William!
Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shamsphere was never actually dead in the first place.
Ah, yes, that might make sense, and I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was our last.
Oh!
Oops.
Mr. Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Shamsphere, didn't you?
I'm not saying another word! I demand to have a lawyer present!
Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story.
Why am I cursed like this?
Alright, fucker. What happened? For Christ's sake, dude. Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume?
There's nothing to tell! But, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that accursed case yesterday. The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back.
I can't get over fucking Olive Green, dude.
It's hard.
It's hard to believe that was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my lowly lodgings, and that evening at past 9 it must have been, I visited Mr. Shamsphere.
So you did go to the victim's room then?
As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong! I'd never been to his room before, it was the first time!
Then what made you decide to go?
I bumped into him when we arrived back at the house. We got to chatting and it developed into a discussion. But he had to go out, so I bade him farewell.
That ties in with what Mr. Garadeb said, that the victim went out and came back after 8.
We met again later that evening at around 9 or just after, when I took him when I took him some nice tea I'd been brewed as a gift.
So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then.
And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, weren't you?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet! Who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate.
What? Why are you fucking power scaling Romeo and Juliet?
I'm sure.
Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare!
And the debate became very heated, so you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea?
No, never, not at all! Team Juliet won! That was me, and when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit, I swear it, categorically!
Alright, buddy, tell me about your curse. Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. But you have a cursed existence.
I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time I've learned that it's no place for me.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere I look, and they all stare at me. They all laugh. That's the impression whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember. And then 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road.
But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable.
Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money, it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed.
Cursed? How?
The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Oh no!
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why.
Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that.
I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books, and books cost money. A horrible history is a small price to pay. When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning.
Brave or blinkered?
But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was.
Gosh, was it really so awful? How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of beady eyes boring into my back, watching me.
Do you really think that... Do you think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you?
No, my mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to that place.
A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean?
All the souls who died in that room that leaned over me in my sleep and tried to strangle me.
That really is horrible.
And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Shakespeare was writhing in agony from the poison in his body, I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right, I know it. And that's why I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home.
I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Ooh, Susato-san knows how to make the man listen. Freaky D.
Of course, Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse in my room as well.
You mean Mr. Garadeb?
Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again.
Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Perhaps. That may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps in his tenants' movements.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his let rooms.
What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please, forget I said anything.
Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well.
What's important is that Mr. Shamsphere isn't in fact dead at all. Once he's come round and able to tell us what happens, we'll be able to get you released.
Yes, please, oh, I do hope you're right.
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson!
I couldn't help overhearing what you just said. And on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Ow! What do you want to hear first?
Always, every time the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle.
Right, well, in that case, the good news it is.
Ah!
Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way.
Then why did you ask me my preference?
As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shamsphere, was just unconscious. He's come round now.
Yeah, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory.
He's still being treated by the doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness. It's all over then. I can leave this somber cell.
Sorry, no, that's not on the cards.
What?
Why ever not, Inspector?
She talk like that.
Mr. Shamsphere's implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night.
Implicated someone?
Oh dear.
You don't mean...
I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointed a finger at you, Mr. Natsume. By sweet poison that he seeketh to end my life. That wickedest caitiff, Sosuke Natsume.
No!
So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be wanting to make the necessary preparations.
So, once again, Soseki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court to do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him. Whew! Goddamn. Alright, well, I think that's about the end of the episode if they'll let me save the game. Save my current progress, there we go. Perfect, good shit. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time where we start the trial. For now, I'm gonna get the fuck up out.